1,000-foot volcano often erupts but rarely causes damage. Residents are not in danger but are dealing with ash showers. This is CBS News.
Get CBS News Radio on the Odyssey app. All the audio that matters to you is on Odyssey. News, music, sports, and podcasts. Download the Odyssey app today.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job,
not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. I am hungered in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungeredInAmerica.org, brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Create your own income with your own home-based business where there's no such thing as getting laid off? If a billionaire entrepreneur spent 5 years and $20 million searching for the next big trend, wouldn't you want to know what he found? If you're serious about making money from home without having to leave home, then write this down. www.goherenext.com. You decide your income. Get the facts now. Goherenext.com.
WWL First News. I'm Tom Perumian on your official weather station, WWL AM, FM, and .com.
Another steamy day across southeast Louisiana. Temperatures are expected to climb into the mid-90s today. A mix of sunshine and clouds, and rain chances remain moderate throughout the afternoon and tonight. Quick heavy downpours, isolated thunderstorms are possible, so make sure you have that umbrella with you.
Your local weather expert, WWL TV meteorologist Michelle Morgan, will be along with your full weather forecast. A double shooting rocks the warehouse district last night. WWL TV's Paul Dudley has the latest.
We are learning more about a double shooting that apparently happened in the warehouse district of New Orleans. The NOPD says 2 men were shot near the intersection of Fulton and North Diamond Street, which is very close to the convention center there. Police say both victims arrived at the hospital on their own. There is still no word on their condition just yet.
NOPD is investigating a traffic fatality that occurred early this morning on I-610 near the Elysian Fields exit. Around 2:16 a.m., 3rd District officers responded to a traffic accident involving a 2015 Dodge Challenger and a pedestrian. The initial investigation revealed that the vehicle was traveling in the eastbound lane of 610 when it struck an unknown male who was walking in the left lane of the highway. The victim fell over the guardrail and landed on the ground beneath the highway near St. Anthony Avenue and Benefit Street. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Well, the runoff election is over. The 7th District has a new state senator. WWL TV's Sharice Gibson has the story.
The winner of a special election for state senate will be the nephew of the man who formerly held that seat, Troy Carter. State Representative Gary Carter Jr. is one of 4 people who ran to replace Troy Carter in the state senate. Carter, of course, was elected to Congress earlier this year, and the results tonight show Gary Carter avoiding a runoff and winning the seat outright. Republican Patty McCarty is in second place, followed by Joanna Leopold and State Rep Matt Comier. The district includes parts of the West Bank of Orleans, Jefferson, and Plaquemines Parish.
Well, cruise ships are starting to return to Gulf ports, but it looks like New Orleans isn't going to be one of them. WWL TV's Sheba Turk files this report.
And earlier this week, Carnival Cruise announced that they will be back out on the seas next month in Florida and Texas. So they say they're extending the moratorium on sailings from New Orleans through August. The cruises that leave next month only are for those who are fully vaccinated.
Now, your Garcia Roofing forecast on WWL.
Another steamy day across the area. Temperatures are expected to climb into the mid-90s this afternoon, and it will feel like the triple digits once again. So make sure you're practicing heat safety while you're out and about. Drink plenty of water and take frequent breaks if you're planning on being outside. Rain chances remain moderate this afternoon and also tonight. Scattered showers, quick heavy downpours for some, and isolated thunderstorms are possible. Tonight I am going to keep the rain chances in the forecast, and we are looking at mostly cloudy skies with overnight temperatures falling in the upper 70s. As we start off the work week, another hot and humid day is expected, and also a mix of sunshine and clouds. Rain chances remaining pretty moderate for the area, so keep that umbrella with you. And temperatures are expected to climb into the lower 90s Monday afternoon. As we head into Monday night, I am expecting mostly cloudy skies with those overnight temperatures falling into the mid-70s. From your Weather Expert Forecast Center, I'm WWL-TV meteorologist Michelle Morgan.
And I'm Tom Perumian, WWL First News. For the latest on the pandemic and vaccination efforts, go to wwl.com/coronavirus for the latest updates.
From WWL, the news, talk, sports powerhouse of the Gulf South, it's All Things Legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud. Underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. Join us on the Oakland Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870, or connect anytime, anywhere on the Odyssey app. Now, to our Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union studios in the heart of New Orleans, here are attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, good morning, Doug Sunseri. Michelle Demmer, Sunseri, All Things Legal. Give us a call, 260-1870. Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Thank you for responding to my, well, I say that figuratively, elbow. You were way up before me.
I was very much up before you.
My alarm goes off at 6:50.
Yeah, mine goes off much before.
And then we have to go across to the home studio. We have to traverse about 8 feet of rug.
It's tough.
And then we're there. So, well, thanks for being here. Got a lot to talk about. You sick of baseball, huh? You had enough of baseball.
No, I'm okay.
You okay?
I'm okay, yeah. I enjoyed it last night. It would have been nice to have a different ending, but...
you know, it's one thing about getting beat, and there's another thing in losing due to self-inflicted wounds.
I was about to say beating yourself.
Beating yourself. Now, very controversial. You're going to look back at this game. LSU has played Tennessee 4 times already. Mm-hmm. In each game, it was either a walk-off by Tennessee. Your brother-in-law, Paulie, told you what a walk-off was.
He told me what a walk-off was.
Or the winning and tying run was on base or at the plate. So all these games have been close. Mm-hmm. So when it's that close, it comes down to the little things. Just, and there was a few things that happened. Now, this is the thing that it's going to be questioned, is Mikel Hilliard, the first pitcher.
Okay, yeah.
He pitched 5 innings, I think 3 hits, one no walks, and 6 strikeouts. And they pull him.
I know. Why did they pull him?
I don't know. I have no idea. And he had a plan in place, obviously, that Hilliard was going to go 4 or 5 innings. But, he just did. And then Coleman came in, right, who's done a very good job. He's a freshman. And in that 6th inning, he had 3 walks, which, is totally self-inflicted. Then you had, after they scored, you had a shot to the third baseman, Doherty, and then he hesitated rather than getting the out and tried to take a man at first, or looked at him, and the man was safe at first.
Yeah.
There's a man on second coming to third. Right. If he got the out, they would have been out the inning later, 2-2. And then, they had in the 8th inning.
Yeah, that was 8.
In the 8th inning, Dylan Cruz was at first. He was running. Trey Morgan's sort of in a mini slump. Struck out again, and Dylan Cruz overslid second base. He was safe when he stole second, and he was out. Mm-hmm. Now, you know why he overslid?
No.
Because it's artificial turf.
Yeah,
so they used to, when you're in a grass field, you don't slide. When I say,
it's not slick.
It's not slick. Good, thank you.
You're welcome.
That Dominican education.
I'm telling you,
you just like
just pays off sometimes. I'm telling you.
And so he slid by. Now, actually, Drew Bianco slid by, but he slid over the base, so he's able to stay on with his feet.
Right.
So we had that, and then at the end of the game, we had 2 on, Man of second and third. Jake Thompson was up and struck out.
Yeah, I didn't watch that.
And then Jake Thompson, they had another, I think in the seventh inning, an opportunity where he couldn't get down a bunt. So it was just the little things. And when you play Tennessee, you can't have those mistakes.
Yeah, Paulie was telling me that baseball is about it's like things happen in a series. Like you're either having a good time or you're not having a good time. It's like in a I'm trying to think of the
sequential.
Word. Well, almost.
It's like the little things add up. It's as we always say, baseball is about 3 minutes of action spread out in about 3 hours. And it was just it was just they could have won it, and they can win the next two. Now I sat here last Sunday saying they had about a 5 to 10% chance of getting out the bracket.
I think they had, but they didn't have anything to lose.
Yeah, they just here's the other thing they need to do. I love a man, Cade Beluso. He's just in some kind of horrible slump. They're 6, 7, 8th, and 9th in the order. It just didn't do anything. They did a little bit, enough in the regionals to win, but you have Beloso's in this horrible slump.
Like, yeah, that's what Polly was saying. You're either in a streak or you're in a slump, and like, why is that? It's different for like football. It's different for.
It's a mental. Baseball is a mental game. And more so. I mean, like in football, you can just go. It's just pretty much a lot of attacking, a lot of instincts take over. Baseball is highly mental. Like when you're a batter, you got a round ball being thrown at a round bat at 90 miles an hour, and if you fail 7 out of 10 times, you're a superstar.
Right.
So but as a batter, when you have it's just like picking up on the spin of the ball coming up at 90 miles an hour to know whether, if it's coming eye level, if it's spinning one way, it may drop down to the strike zone. If it doesn't, it's going to stay up there. Or if you have a ball that's coming in the middle of the zone and it's spinning downward, it's probably going to sink drop before you get to the plate. It's split second. And also, too, is knowing situations like Doherty at third base is to know, okay, I got a man in second, and when he hesitated and he didn't get that, just understanding situations. And Coach Maneri, he's great. He's been 15 years, but I think that decision should be rightly questioned to pull out Hilliard. Let him pitch until he's in trouble. Right. I mean, he's gone 9 innings before, 8, 9 innings, and they couldn't hit him. Right. I mean, they were having problems.
Were they trying to save him? Do you think for some?
I don't know. They could not touch that 12-6 curveball. 12-6 means it just drops down. It starts at eye level and it drops into the strike zone, or it starts at the belt and it's in the dirt.
Who did he go talk to in the bullpen? Remember
that was
when
Coleman.
He walked?
Okay. That was Coleman. He ran down Coleman, and I think they had a plan that Hilliard would go 4 innings. I'm guessing. So, oh my goodness, it's just they were close. They can win it. They can win it, but they have to.
I asked you this morning, what is the chances? And you said 50.
Well, today. I think but to win, they got to win the next 2.
Yeah.
And what they have to do is, the key to winning is this. Martineau, he's going to pitch. He's a stud. He comes to play. You have to have production on 7, 8, 9. You're going to have production from Beloso, Thompson, and Milazzo.
What causes a kid to get out of the slump? Is it just
mental.
One good hit?
It's just a mental thing. It's just like it gets inside of your head, and you just can't get it out. And they try a lot of things. They try to change your mechanics. They try to do a lot of things. But poor Kate just hadn't been able to get out of it. Mm-hmm. So you need 6, 7, and 8. Now they missed Gio because Gio would be in center field.
Where is he?
He's hurt. His hamstring's been hurt. If they had Gio in center field, then they would bring Bianco, who's playing lights out at second. And they're a little shaky on second base with Arnold at second base. So they can do it. They just the key is this: 7, 8, 9 need to hit. Defensively, they got to be stout. Tennessee made some great defensive plays that really did. I think those are the two keys. Now Morgan he's in a little mini slump. When you're a freshman, it's a long season, and sometimes they sort of peter out in the end. But those are the keys, and I think they can do it. I think they have a very good chance because, as Coach Bertman said, their pitcher was 8-1, 9-1, but he had a 4.11 ERA. Coach Bertman said, as he pulled the rope, he's a fraud. He's got a 4.4 run ERA, and he's got 9 wins. He's a fraud. No, he's not. He's not. He wasn't that good.
Right.
And Tennessee's pitching can be hit. So, also, the last thing is timely hitting.
Timely hitting.
Not leaving ducks on the pond.
What does that mean?
When you got players on base,
you
got to get hits.
Yeah.
Because they were 0 for 5 at one point with I think they were probably 0-9, 0-10 with players in scoring position on second and third. So there you go. Anything that we're playing with the dealer's money this year. We've got 5 starting freshmen on this team.
Yeah.
They're going to be good.
After the 3 games we saw when we went in the regular season, I'm surprised that they're there. So
I know it was sort of a grueling season. We went up to Vanderbilt and we saw Kumar Rocker just mow down LSU. It was like 13-1.
Yeah.
I don't think they played the fight song once during the whole game.
I don't think they did either.
They didn't even play Calling Louisiana.
It's sad.
Then we
were happy to be there, though.
Oh, that was post mass. Oh, you know what I heard on the news? We got to talk about this. I like to surprise things.
Oh, I know. What?
New issues of the household on you. We'll do that after the break.
Okay. And I also want to hear about DBU. You told me you were going to tell me the Dallas Baptist team.
Dallas Baptist University. Wow. They beat UVA. They're like the size of Loyola University, and they're going to the College World Series.
I love hearing stories like that.
That's great. All right, let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demmer Sunseri. All things legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
It's been years in the making, and now the British Royal Navy.
Okay, I'm getting a lot of mechanical noise.
But until Apple gets their hands on the
bumping and pops and stuff like that.
Okay.
Love is a two-way
like people slamming their coffee cup down on the table.
When it comes to jewelry, it takes 2 as well. At Oakland Heart Jewelers, it takes.
And could you bump your mic up just a little?
Our
And
attention to details is unsurpassed.
Let's see.
From our bracelets to our diamond stud earrings, each and every diamond is perfectly matched by a member of the Oakland Heart family, personally.
Or either that or take Michelle's down just a notch.
Bracelets and earrings. Each piece passes from our master jeweler's hands directly to your hands, saving you money.
And we will be perfect.
And along with the pieces we create in our store, we offer diamond jewelry from world-renowned designers like David Yurman, Penny Prevost, Mikimoto Pearls, and Marco Bichigo. Breathtaking diamonds, stunning styles, always at the best possible prices. Oakland Heart Jewelers on Metairie Road. Beautiful in more ways than one.
I started my business in 1986 and began paying employees. I would handwrite checks and say, "Here you go. Don't cash it until Tuesday." That came to a screeching halt when a teenage employee said his dad wanted to see his pay stub. Pay stub? We don't have pay stubs. Get back to work. He said, "Dad works for the government and state law requires I receive a pay stub." Uh-oh. Hi, I'm Mike Capel, CEO of Patriot Software. After many emergency calls, I learned how to correctly withhold payroll taxes and create pay stubs. I avoided handcuffs and an orange jumpsuit that day, barely. That's why I created Patriot Software, to help small business owners do their payroll taxes correctly with pay stubs. And if you need help, we will help you for free. Go to patriotsoftware.com and enter promo code RADIO and I'll give you 2 months of payroll processing free. That's patriotsoftware.com.
This is Attorney Doug Sunseri, host of All Things Legal on Sunday morning.
This is Attorney Michelle Demarest Sunseri. As a result of COVID-19, many are experiencing unique family law difficulties resulting in divorce and custody issues.
Also, we learn the importance of estate planning, wills, and powers of attorney.
At Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm, we make the complex understandable.
Call me at my Metairie office at 504-837-1304.
Or call me, the boss lady, on the North Shore at my new office in Mandeville at 985-624-9697.
Boss lady, really?
It's Boat Stuff's in-house boat show today through June 30th at any of Boat Stuff's 4 convenient locations. Build your new 2022 dream boat powered by Yamaha Outboards. Get a great deal on all 2022 coastal fishing boats, fiberglass and aluminum boats, including new 2022 Avid boats, Sea Fox, Blue Wave, Ranger, and Sea Pro, all powered by Yamaha Outboards. Get special financing and free Coast Guard safety packages with all boat purchases. It's Boat Stuff's in-house boat show in Hammond, Slidell, Harvey, and Port Sulphur for sales, service, and parts.
I struggled with symptoms like frequent gas and stomach pain for years.
I was bloated all the time with daily diarrhea.
At first, I thought it was what I was eating.
I kept thinking it was stomach issues.
So I did my research and talked to my doctor, and we finally uncovered the truth.
It was actually EPI. Exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, is a condition where your pancreas is unable to help break down your food.
It can lead to symptoms like diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools.
And EPI symptoms can be confused with those of other common digestive conditions, like irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's, and celiac disease.
So getting to the right diagnosis meant being more open with my doctor about the severity of my symptoms and how often they were happening.
But there's good news. EPI is manageable, so don't wait any longer. Use the symptom checker at identifyepi.com and schedule a visit or call with your doctor to ask, could I have EPI?
Sponsored by AbbVie.
All Things Legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud on WWL and Odyssey Station. Connect now on the Oak Hart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri. All Things Legal. Oh, I like to sort of bring up household issues on the air.
I'm so concerned, yeah.
So that if you react unfavorably, people hear. No, I'm just kidding. I heard on the news. Oh, we got to change our commercial.
I know.
I don't like that boss lady stuff.
It's so silly.
The way you say boss lady sort of scares me, Call the boss lady. Did you have that was an old New Orleans term.
Was it?
Yeah. When I was a kid, I used to walk. They said, go talk to the boss lady.
Oh, I didn't ever hear that. I
heard that. Yeah.
You wrote the commercials, though.
Yeah, I do.
I know.
Emil and I do that. All right. We it's a household issue. Before we start continuing the show, I heard during the news. It's always been my dream to watch LSU play in the Rose Bowl.
Okay. Oh.
Huh?
All right.
And no, it is. And they're playing in the Rose Bowl. They're not playing in the Rose Bowl.
I know. We've had
at the Rose Bowl.
I know. We've had this conversation.
I know, but California just said the socialist governor over there said he's going to lift the mask mandate.
It's not about the mask mandate. It's a vaccine certificate.
No, they can't do that. So
right now they are.
All right. Well, so okay. I think we'll be okay. They can't do that. So because there's no reason you had COVID.
I had COVID.
You're not going to get a vaccine.
Absolutely not.
But I think that's one step. Okay, no mask, if there's no vaccine requirement, we're going to the.
Then I'll pay my money, give my money to the woke state. Otherwise,
well, we're going to LSU UCLA September 4th.
I know you want to go. I would love to go.
All right. Well, to be seen, to be determined.
To be determined.
I mean, watch LSU in that beautiful stadium.
Listen, I love LSU.
And
I love
UCLA's
football.
got great colors too.
I know they do.
All right. So we'll see. But that's we're about 80 some odd days away. I usually start the countdown. All right, and I wanted to you're a lawsuits. The interesting thing about lawsuits are Anybody can file. It doesn't matter
Anybody
whether
can
they're
file. It doesn't
successful.
matter whether they have a valid cause of action or not.
Now, you sort of like the guru on family law.
Okay.
And then I just wanted to get this from a woman's point of view.
Okay.
I said they have a man in 2017 sued Uber because he said Uber ruined his marriage.
Why did Uber ruin his marriage?
All
Was
right.
his wife now an Uber driver?
No. A businessman sued Uber for $48 million. Maybe that's why if you saw that stock drop one day, that would have happened.
$48 million.
Claiming a flaw in the ride-sharing company's app played a role in the dissolution of his marriage. All right. The businessman said he borrowed his wife's cell phone and used it to log on to his Uber app. He claimed a glitch in the app caused it to continue to send notifications of his whereabouts to his wife's phone, even though he was logged off. And apparently, some of his movements caused a problem with his wife, and their marriage ended in divorce.
Where was he?
Well, he was
visiting.
He was messing around.
Visiting his paramour.
Yeah, he visited. That's a word you taught me. Paramour is the odd. You explain what a paramour is.
Paramour is a person that you're seeing or having relations with who's not your wife or husband.
So did you learn that at Dominican too?
I think I actually learned that in law school.
I didn't learn that. I must have.
You must have missed that class.
I was in the back. I was in the back row. It was probably a Friday morning class. I was just probably
or Friday afternoon class,
or a little fuzzy. You know, in law school, we had a teacher who I had a 3 o'clock class. And
how dare them?
How dare that, my first. And so I decided to skip. And I decided to go to fairgrounds.
Because that's exactly where a freshman in law school needs to be.
She just
was she
I was
there?
stressed. I need some therapy. And I saw my professor there who was also skipping.
No. I think you're the only person I ever heard who continued to go to spring break.
So we looked at each other like saying, I won't say anything and you won't say anything.
That's
so
funny.
Anyway.
That's funny.
But anyway, so he was seeing his paramour and he sued Uber. So
did he get? How long did it take him to get thrown out of court for that?
The results are unknown. But anyway, that's sort of interesting. Now I want to lead into that.
But I've had many people come to me and want to sue like the paramour.
That's why I brought that up because that's like a lead in.
Yeah.
Like in Louisiana, when you have a divorce and they have a paramour involved or something like that, we're basically a no fault state. But you can have.
But we don't have alienation of affection claims.
Right. What do you
I
mean
think
by
some
that?
states do. We don't.
But there's only limited circumstances where, being a no-fault state, that adultery inside of a marriage has a great psychological, emotional.
Yeah, but that claim was against a third party for alienation.
Right, but I'm switching that to the context of Louisiana law in marriage.
The only time a fault is really an issue, unless you have a covenant marriage, is for a final support claim.
And now just for the people, there's two types. There's interim support and final support. What's the difference between the two?
Interim support's paid during the pendency of the proceeding, and it's just from the time you file to the time for 6 months post judgment of divorce, and it's really to keep the same lifestyle, and it's just based upon need and the ability to pay. Whereas the person who's asking for it has to show that they can't meet their monthly expenses. And then once they prove that, they have to prove that the other side has extra money every month to help them pay and help them fill that need.
And that's changed a lot. I mean, the application of that has changed a lot in the last 30 or 40 years or 32 years since I've been doing it, is when I started, you had more, I can say, traditional households where you had, I'll say traditionals, 50s lifestyle households. And you might have had only one spouse working, and one spouse might not have worked for 20 or 30 years, so that the other spouse could be advancing their vocation. But now it seems like most of the time both spouses are working, and they're both able to meet their needs. So therefore,
well, sometimes they can, and it depends what court you're in too. Some courts I've noticed, so you can impute income to the spouse who's asking for it. Let's say they haven't worked, but they have an education or they don't have young kids. Some courts will maybe give them about 6 months to go get a job, and if not, they'll impute income to them, like what they think they could make had they been working. And some courts don't impute income so much.
okay, let's talk about like a deadbeat dad. Okay. Who, let's say there's a divorce and he's got to pay child support.
Okay.
And dad says, working is just stressful. And maybe he wants to, maybe play his guitar all the time or do something where, where it's just stressful and
less stressful.
Yeah. And he just, it's like, has a problem with the bosses, what can you do, or how does the courts look at someone who is underemployed or not reaching their full potential in a particular vocation?
Well, underemployed or unemployed for intent of not paying it has to be for the intent of not paying support. So it can't be like I've had some people try to claim, the other side's underemployed because they might have changed a job a year prior to the petition for divorce being filed. But it was really like a family decision, like, hey, we're going to move, I'm going to change this job, or I'm going to reduce the amount of hours to, for this purpose of the goal of the family. So it really has to be for the intent of not paying support.
Yes.
That's what you have to prove.
And how does the courts look at that if someone is
If you prove that, then they're going to impute income to them.
And how do they impute income?
Sometimes they'll look at what they had earned prior. If they don't, I've had, they'll use the wage of labor survey to see like what the average in Louisiana, say like a real estate agent should make, or, a construction worker or an office manager, or whatever. There's a survey that's done.
Gotcha. All right, I hear the music. Let's take a break. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demmer, Sunseri, All Things Legal. Give us a call at 260-1870, and we'll be back right after this brief time out.
Back to work, back to traffic.
I can't stand bad traffic. Okay, we need to bump you both up just a little bit. I have two callers on the phone. We have Miss Virginia from Hammond, a question about succession, and I have Michael from Metairie with a comment about law school and going to fairgrounds.
That help you get there faster.
Because I don't want to get stuck somewhere for too long.
You want to find alternate routes, and having those kind of reports are important.
Traffic matters to me.
From WWL.
Diamonds are true. Only nature can give them birth. Only the best craftsmen can make them come alive. And only those with a true passion for diamonds can lead you to something you'll love. Oakwood Heart doesn't move jewelry. We move people. With handcrafted, ethically sourced, high-quality diamond engagement rings at a smart price. Uniquely styled rings that capture your love. After all, that's what's real. That's what's truly beautiful. Oakwood Heart has been creating fine jewelry since 1927. We ask you to look beyond the shine. Shop smart. Choose from our vast collection or let our master craftsmen design and create a one-of-a-kind engagement ring made just for you. Shop online and around town. The more you know, the better we look. Breathtaking diamonds, stunning styles, always at the best possible prices. Oakwood Heart Jewelers on Metairie Road. Beautiful in more ways than one.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. I trust J&J to protect my home and family.
J&J has protected Louisiana homes and businesses for over 50 years. We shield your home from termites, roaches, ants, mosquitoes, and other pests. J&J Exterminating is Louisiana's largest independently owned pest control company. We know what works in Louisiana's climate. Get the shield.
J&J Exterminating.
Yeah. At Community Coffee, we've been making great tasting coffee for over 100 years. But what makes us different isn't just how long we've been around. It's how far we're willing to go in pursuit of the perfect cup. We select only the finest beans, and use over 4 generations of family roasting experience to give you the richest, most delicious coffee around. Find Community Coffee at your local grocery store or visit communitycoffee.com to order some today.
Are you a business owner doing your own bookkeeping? Why? It makes no sense, literally. Focus on what you do well, like growing your business, and let Accounting Services Unlimited handle your bookkeeping. Hi, this is Thomas Fontes. Accounting Services Unlimited is insanely affordable and will come to you. Call for a free quote. Accounting Services Unlimited, 504-717-6253. That's 717-6253. Or visit us at asu-llc.com.
Hey, y'all, spring is here, and you're ready to get out and celebrate. Here's what's happening around the state. June 10th through 12th, Louisiana Corn Festival in Bunkie. June 11th and 12th, Red River Balloon Rally in Shreveport. June 12th and 13th, Cajun Heritage Festival in La Rose. So make your plans to laissez les bon temps rouler.
This is Lieutenant Governor Billy Nutgesser. Plan your road trip at LouisianaIsATrip.com.
At Mike Brenner Injury Attorneys, we know that car wrecks don't take the weekends off, and neither do we. If you've been hurt in a wreck over the weekend, don't wait until Monday to get the help you need right now. We have people standing by, ready to take your call, ready to give you free advice, and ready to help you get the medical attention you need. You don't have to wait until Monday to call an attorney. We are the 24/7 injury attorneys, and we're available to get you the help you need right now. Go big!
Heard in the wreck, Mike Brenner's the one. Call 345-1111.
Wondering why their bid was so low? Take 30 seconds to save thousands at lacontractor.org and look them up for yourself. Keep storm chasers and scammers away any time of the day, 365 days a year. Take 30 seconds to save thousands at lacontractor.org.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-568-2090. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-568-2790. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-568-2790. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-568-2790. 800-568-2790.
Protect yourself from misinformation about COVID-19 vaccines and more with HealthGuard, a free browser extension that tells you if a site is reliable as you browse online health information. Download HealthGuard on any browser in one click at newsguardtech.com/vaxax.
All things legal on WWL. Consult with Nicaud and Sunseri now on the Oakwinhart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870. And don't forget to rewind on the Odyssey app.
Hey, we're back. That's Sunseri, Michelle Demarest, Sunseri, all things legal. Let's go to phone lines. Let's go to Virginia. Virginia, you on all things legal with Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest, Sunseri.
You're way low.
All right.
Good morning. I appreciate your program so much. I just started listening lately. But I want to ask the question. I really don't know enough about it to ask a question, but I'm seeking information about a succession. I had an encounter just recently, and I'm lost. We moved here from California, and my husband had a long battle with cancer, and we eventually lost him. And so I'm trying to regroup and find out what is it, and why you have to have it. And I didn't know anything about it, and I need to read up on it. I'm going to need some help some kind of way because I'm not really sure what it is and how it affects me. But the show's not long enough for me to go through my whole problem. But can you just tell me where I can go to get information? Then I have you guys' office that people referred me to listen to you guys, and they said often you talk about it. Can you just tell me what it is? And how, when people come in from out of the state, how do we know about it unless somebody in Louisiana tells us about it?
All right. Well, I'll tell you the first part, and I'll let Michelle take the rest. you don't have to worry about being a party in the succession while you're alive.
That's right.
So you don't have to worry about it until you die. But go ahead.
A succession is, if you want to equate it to the word probate, if you have a will, but it's really just a legal action that is opened after someone dies if you have to take care of assets that were in there or that they died with or in their estates. If you all moved here and you bought a home together, then you own half and your husband owned half. And in order for you to be able to sell it or get a mortgage on it, then you would have to get your ownership. And so you open up a succession to deal with your husband's part of the property that he owned.
Yeah, basically a succession is a legal procedure whereby the assets of a person who's died is transferred to the heirs. And the heirs would be determined by a will or by law if you don't have a will.
And I don't think the intestate laws in Louisiana are that different from than in California. It might be a little bit different dealing with whether a spouse is an heir of their spouse, but I think that's the only big difference.
Yeah. So basically,
okay. So that helps me so much to at least point in the right direction. I'll tell you just briefly why it came up about it, because everything that we had, even though his will was not like a Louisiana type thing, but everything that we had, just the two of us, both of our names were on everything. Right. Everything that we bought or we owned, everything was on. So when he passed away, there were things that I had to make sure that I showed a death certificate and all that to prove that I was the spouse, right? In that way,
right?
And everything. But recently, he had my son. We have one son, and that's the only other relative. I'm getting ready to make a will for myself, and I kind of want to know how to do it in Louisiana. But the thing that came up was that he had a policy, a life insurance policy for my son when he was very, very young, and now my son is 60, okay, and everything. And so there's nobody there that he didn't have anybody appointed. So we tried to say, well, what happens if something happens to my son? There's nobody there. And they sent me a note and said it would be the estate. Now, does that mean tell me what that really means? And then the people that mentioned that to me said, hey, well, you have to go through a succession to declare that.
So if there was not a valid beneficiary to a life insurance, then it falls intestate, meaning it goes to your husband's estate, and then his estate needs to be opened to determine who his heirs are, and then it would fall within that part of the proceeding. Because usually a life insurance is not.
We don't have any. We don't have any heirs. It's just we're very little, and I'm old myself. Old.
Yeah. I mean, you do. If you have children,
if you have children, you have heirs.
Yeah, if you have children, you have heirs. They're going to get your property unless you do a will that says otherwise.
Okay, so
I tell you what.
That's what I want to do.
All right.
I'm going to give you my phone number, and why don't you call tomorrow and talk about the specifics?
All right. All right.
Okay, that sounds good.
985-624-9697.
All right. Thanks for the call.
Thanks, Virginia.
Give it to me one more time again. One more.
985-624-9697.
9697.
Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
Well, thank you so much. And your name is?
Michelle.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, call. Let's go to Michael. Got a question regarding a statement about law school and the fairgrounds. Hey, Michael, you in all things legal.
Hey, how y'all doing? Good morning.
Morning.
Great. Look, I was great to hear that there was a kindred spirit out there because when about 50 years ago, I was in law school in New Orleans, and my junior class missed a lot of time from Thanksgiving Day till April the 1st, because we were always most of us were at the racetrack.
That's a long time.
During Thanksgiving.
So anyway, sorry?
During the Thanksgiving racing series, during exams. You're a trooper.
Yeah. Right, exactly. So anyway, well, we had a great teacher who had, in our senior year, had become the dean, and he comes up to me and he says, "Look, I know you guys love the racetrack, and you've been missing a lot of time, but could you please, because I'm just made the dean. I hate to see that on my record. Everybody's skipping classes. So could you please come to most of the classes?" So I said, "Okay, I'm going to try to get a quorum with the guys, but it's real hard between Thanksgiving and April the 1st. So we worked it out, and although we still missed a good bit of classes, where everything worked out well. But the second part of this is you were talking about meeting the professor. Well, when I was in undergraduate school, the head of the economics department, I found out, was in love with with Equus. That's the racehorses. So anyway, being a devotee of racehorses since I was 15, he and I became big buddies. And he said, "You know what? We're going to go down to New Orleans, and we're going to." I said, "What do you mean go down?" And he said, "We're going to spend 3 days over there just at the racetrack." I said, "What about all your classes? What about me?" He says, "Don't worry about it. I've got you covered." So we came down to New Orleans for 3 days, and it was a great time.
Well,
and by the way, I named I've owned horses for the last 50 years, so I named one of my horses after him.
Well, you know, I was saying, when I was a kid, the two men who lived across the street owned horses. And so I learned to read a racing form before I read Dr. Seuss.
I love it. Yeah, that's great.
And they would pay me $0.25 to walk 3 blocks to the newsstand to get the racing form and bring it back, which was next to St. Angelo.
Well, that's a great story.
Yeah.
So anyway, my wife told me, she said when we first got married, "I don't know about these racehorses. It could break us." So I said it's possible, but I think we do it. Anyway, we got lucky, and we owned. We bought for a pittance a horse that I think is the best horse ever born in the history of Louisiana. And by the way, I named him. My son and I were studying physics one day, and I said, "I've got the name," because when you buy a yearling, he has no name. Mm-hmm. And I said, "Here's the name, son. It's E = MC squared." And he said, "Dad, that's crazy. Well, what do you name a racehorse? They won't even know what this means." And I said, "Don't worry about it." So he became great, and we would run all over the country against the best horses in the world. And all the reporters would come up and say, "Why would you name a horse E = MC squared?" I said, "Do you know what the C in E = MC squared means?" They said, "No. It's the speed of light, the fastest thing in the universe." It's a perfect name for a fast racehorse.
That's right. Well, what law school did you go to?
Went to Loyola.
Yeah, that's it. So what were your tuition payments based on your success at the track? In other words, if you had a good day, you'd pay it down, and then you'd have to wait a few months if you had a bad week.
Yeah. Sometimes I was behind when I was in a losing streak.
There you go. All right, man. Kindred spirits.
Okay.
All
Great
right,
to
my
see
man.
Kindred spirits. Okay, great.
All right, brother. All right, let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demmer Sunseri, All Things Legal. Be right back after this brief timeout.
Hey everyone, I'm Darren Criss. I am primarily known probably as an actor, but spent most of my life being a musician.
And I'm Esty Haim, and most of you probably know me from the band Haim, but I've actually spent most of my life being obsessed with theater and acting.
So we wanted to tell you about our new podcast, That Thing I Do, where each week we'll be talking to our special guests about the many things that make them who they are, from actors to musicians to chefs, anyone that makes really cool stuff. You can listen and follow That Thing I Do on Odyssey, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Weddings, sports, vacations, just about everything this year has been pushed back.
Okay, we'll have just a shade over 4 minutes till the top of the hour.
You can't cancel it. You probably don't want to shorten it, but do you need to push it back? This is Glenn Pellis with Gulf South Guarantee, and we can help make sure your retirement dreams are still on track. We have been helping families just like yours retire no matter what the situation is for more than 18 years. We can help design a strategy so that whenever you are ready to retire, your retirement is there waiting for you. Take control of your retirement today. Call us at 877-615-4312. That's 877-615-4312. Don't cancel, shorten, or push back your retirement dreams. Create a strategy now so you can do all the things you've always wanted to do when you want to do them. Call now at 877-615-4312 or on the web, golfsouthguarantee.com.
I'm former NBA player Don Chaney. For years, I had carpal tunnel syndrome and joint pain. Then I started having heart-related symptoms like fatigue and palpitations. Turns out I had heart failure caused by hereditary transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare, life-threatening disease underdiagnosed in African Americans. If you're African American and over 50 with heart failure experiencing unresolved symptoms, talk to your doctor or visit DonKnowsHisHeart.com.
Brought to you by Pfizer.
Hey, New Orleans, we make it easy. Go to RayBrandAuto.com.
This is Newell for the Ray Brand Auto Group, and now is the best time to sell them your car. You heard me right. The Ray Brand Auto Group has allocated $3.5 million to acquire your vehicle. These deals won't last forever, so hurry up and go to any Ray Brand dealership website and get your KBB instant cash value today.
Go to RayBrandAuto.com.
Your life, your hopes, your passions. These things are none of our business. Your deodorant rash, your favorite cheese, and whatever you were searching for at 1:15 a.m., that's really none of our business. Because your life is private, and unlike other tech companies, we think your internet should be too. Oh, what kind of talk is that? That's none of our business either. Protect your privacy online for free with DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
We're planning a trip to Spain later this year.
But our Spanish is
pretty bad.
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind. Babbel's conversation-based method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive, bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
No matter your learning style or experience level, Babbel has lessons designed for you that will get you speaking quickly and confidently.
I tried learning Spanish before, but I couldn't stick with it until I found Babbel.
There's no easier way to learn another language.
Ahora hablamos español.
He just said, now we speak Spanish.
I can't wait to use our new language skills on our upcoming adventures.
Babbel, language for life, celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
All things legal on WWL-AM-FM.com and the Odyssey app. Connect with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demers, Sunseri, all things legal. What I want to talk about, we're going to go to break and then we'll go next hour. A lot of people have a lot of questions about like estate planning. Virginia brought up successions and Medicaid planning. And, we sort of go through this every once in a while because there's a lot of misconceptions about, if long-term care for Medicaid, which generally happens if you have a situation where if you have Alzheimer's or something that might require memory care for 3, 5, sometimes it go along 10 years.
Right.
And figuring out whether there's things you can do to prepare for that. And because a lot of times what people do, they'll make moves and then come see us after. And they're like, it turns out that the move they thought what they were making would enhance their eligibility for Medicaid at some point down in the future actually made it worse. And, it's as far as, we'll talk about that. Also, too, we always talk about this in wills, is you get a will and they say, what should I do? Even if you just have one heir, get a will that, provides for independent administration.
Right.
Because in Louisiana, when you have independent administration, wills are not, probate is a very streamlined proceeding.
Right.
Or at least the independent administrator, who would be the succession representative, would have the ability to do things quick. Sometimes they sit, when they sit on their hands and don't administer, then it becomes an issue.
Right.
So, those are a couple of things that, but I think the Medicaid planning is something that's just a misconception. And it's also sort of a hot button, too, because a lot of people say, well, should you be making moves to become Medicaid eligible? In the sense that
well, and sometimes you can make all the right moves, or you can try to plan and you just have too much because
right,
it's not
too much, right.
it's not
like every once in a while you get someone who would say, they have $4,000 or $5,000 of income and they say I want to do Medicaid planning. I say, well, that's one of the shortest consults you have. It's like, all right, nice seeing you. See
you can't
later.
plan.
I can't plan, but there's certain situations that they can. It's usually
Right.
the person sort of in the middle who has enough. They have a little nest egg, but it would be eaten up pretty quickly if they had to go to memory care. And there's certain things that can be done to enhance it. And, the government's got rules out there. And so you just sort of, apply the rules and figure out what's best for you. So it's always an interesting subject. And there's just it's just a lot of misconceptions, a lot of, just not understanding it. In fact, when I was taught it initially, I didn't understand it until I had to put it in my De La Salle brain and make the complex understandable. And I was able to do that. And we'll try to do that in radio. I usually do use a chalkboard or a chalkboard. I'm dating myself.
A whiteboard.
There's a whiteboard.
That's what we have in the office.
Yeah,
you have your handwriting
on a whiteboard. And did you ever get in trouble? Did you used to have to clean the chalkboard after?
Are you
school?
kidding me?
Huh?
No.
You never got in trouble, huh? You were always in the front row.
I was always in the front row.
I was that guy in the back row in law school.
No. I would have figured.
How you would have figured? I did all the cramming. I was in November. I was November and April were my months. Up until then, I was just.
I was too afraid.
Surviving.
I was such a rule follower. Well, I am still such a rule follower in most respects.
I was a rule follower, but.
Which rule?
Yeah, Albert used to keep me out late at night when we were in law school together. Very late.
Really?
Yes. He used to just come to class straight from where he was going out at.
That's so surprising.
He still does that. He
I
do that in
know.
the show. All right, we gotta go to national news, local news, and we'll be back in about 10 minutes and all things legal. Stay tuned. See you then.
Doug, we're going to need you to jack your mic up about 2 notches.
Okay.
870 AM WWL New Orleans, 105.3 WWL FM and HD1 Kenner New Orleans, and Odyssey Station.
I got it right here. All right.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Lisa Mateo. President Biden is at Cornwall Airport after finishing talks with G7 leaders.
Wrapped up what has been an extraordinary collaborative and productive meeting of the G7. Everyone at the table understood and understands both the seriousness and the challenges that we are up against and the responsibility of our proud democracies to step up and deliver for the rest of the world.
As for the global meeting itself, the president was hoping to marshal his G7 partners to counter China's growing influence around the world and to robustly condemn its human rights record. The White House says the final communique will include an expression of concern about China's use of forced labor in Xinjiang province, though apparently there will be no condemnation of Beijing's widely documented use of the detention and torture of the Uyghur people there. The next test, whether the G7 countries stump up for a planned massive overseas infrastructure program to rival China's. Vicky Barker, CBS News, London. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken says the U.S. will have leverage when the president meets with Vladimir Putin this week.
This meeting with President Putin is not happening in a vacuum. The president will be coming off of the G7, the NATO summit, the meeting with the European Union's leaders. And collectively, when we bring the world's democracies together, it's an incredibly powerful force, militarily, economically, politically, diplomatically.
You can watch his interview this morning on Face the Nation. Panic after a gas line explosion rocks a residential neighborhood in central China. At least 12 people are dead, 39 seriously injured. More than 150 people have been sent to the hospital. The cause is under investigation. Israel is set to swear in a new government that will send Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu into the opposition. This Israeli woman says the emotional scars will take time to mend.
There's a lot to heal and to change.
Californians can walk around mask-free starting Tuesday, but as KPX ITV's Dalin reports, not everyone is excited.
Most
most people tell me it's far from mission accomplished.
I'm not really ready for the world to fully open.
Melissa Shirley says masks will be optional at her office starting on Tuesday.
I'm not too happy about it. I'm very worried. So I'm just a little more uncomfortable with the idea of sitting in a closed space without a mask on.
Many say they'll still mask up indoors and avoid large crowds.
I really want to go to a concert. I cannot wait to go to a concert, but I think I'm going to be a bit hesitant.
Kamala Harris has become the first ever sitting vice president to march in a pride parade. She attended D.C.'s Capitol Pride Walk. This is CBS News.
Get CBS News Radio on the Odyssey app. All the audio that matters to you is on Odyssey. News, music, sports, and podcasts. Download the Odyssey app today.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job?
Not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
Or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. I am hungered in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerinAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Pro Basketball Update brought to you by Credit Karma. After some great round 1 matchups, 8 teams move on and 8 teams go home. Up next, the conference semis. They're also a best-of-7 series, with the higher-seeded team having home court advantage. The difference now is that so much more is at stake as the teams get closer to the league finals. Fans are glued to the action. Right now, visit creditkarma.com/winmoney to open your free account and start winning instant karma. No purchase necessary. Exclusions and terms apply. See rules.
WWL First News. I'm Tom Perumian on your official weather station, WWL, AM, FM, and .com.
A mix of sunshine and clouds today, and also hot and humid. Temperatures once again climbing into the mid-90s. Heat indices will be in the triple digits, so make sure you're practicing heat safety if you are planning to be out and about. Rain chances remain moderate throughout the afternoon and also tonight. Quick heavy downpours, isolated thunderstorms are possible.
Your local weather expert, WWL TV meteorologist Michelle Morgan. NOPD investigating a shooting that occurred at or near the intersection of Fulton and North Diamond Streets in the Warehouse District last night. Initial reports indicate there were 2 male victims suffering with gunshot wounds who arrived at a hospital in private vehicles. No further information is available at this time. If you have any information that might help the police, you are urged to call Crime Stoppers. Meanwhile, a man walking on the I-610 is struck and killed. For the story, we go to WWL TV's Paul Dudley.
I-610 near the Elysian Fields exit. Officers say that around 2:15, a man was walking on the left-hand side of the highway there when a Dodge Challenger hit him. The victim then fell over the guardrail and landed on the ground beneath the highway near St. Anthony Street. He was pronounced dead at the scene. There are no other details currently available.
State Representative Gary Carter Jr. has won the special election to fill the state Senate seat vacated by his uncle, Troy Carter, who was elected to Congress. Gary Carter is Troy Carter's nephew, of course. Carter won 60% of the vote in Saturday's special primary, coming out ahead of 3 other contenders to win outright and avoid a runoff. Senate District 7 represents Algiers and parts of the west banks of Jefferson and Plaquemines parishes. In WWL sports, it was a bad inning for the Tigers that doomed last night's game as the Tennessee Volunteers took a 4-2 win. Vols pitcher Chad Dallas sat down a career-high 12 batters in 6 innings. A 3-run Tennessee 6th inning off LSU reliever Javen Coleman erased a 2-1 Tigers lead as the Vols put the game in the hands of senior reliever Sean Hunley. He pitched 3 scoreless innings, retiring LSU shortstop Jordan Thompson for the game's final out, with a pair of Tigers on second and third base.
Tennessee leading here in Game 1 from Knoxville. Tigers threatening runners second and third, 2 outs. Payoff pitch, swing and a miss. And Tennessee will take Game 1 by a final of 4-2.
The 2 teams will tee it up again this afternoon at 2, right here on WWL.
Now, your Garcia Roofing forecast on WWL.
It's It's going to be another hot one today. Temperatures climbing into the mid-90s this afternoon. But when you factor in the humidity, it is going to feel like the triple digits. So be careful out there. A mix of sunshine and clouds, and we are looking at rain chances this afternoon. Pretty moderate, so keep that umbrella with you. Scattered showers as we head into tonight. Quick heavy downpours and isolated thunderstorms are possible. And I am expecting mostly cloudy skies during the overnight hours. As we start off your Monday, plenty of sunshine across the area. And it's going to be another hot one. No surprise there. Temperatures climbing into the lower 90s, and it is going to feel pretty humid and muggy. So be careful if you're planning on being outside. Rain chances remain in the forecast, so keep that umbrella with you throughout the day. But as we head into your Monday night, pretty quiet. Lots of clouds with overnight temperatures falling into the mid-70s. From your Weather Expert Forecast Center, I'm WWL TV meteorologist Michelle Morgan.
And I'm Tom Barumian, WWL First News.
From WWL, the news talk sports powerhouse of the Gulf South, it's All Things Legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud. Underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm.
That sounds so much
Join us
better.
on the Oakwinard Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870, or connect anytime, anywhere on the Odyssey app. Now, to our Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union studios in the heart of New Orleans, here are attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, we're back. Hour number 2, Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri. All things legal.
Sounds good.
We got to talk a little bit about Medicaid in a second. 83. You know what 83 means? 83 days to LSU and UCLA. I'm working you.
You are working.
Rose Bowl.
Every time we take a look at our calendar, you're always like, no, we're going to be out of town that week.
That's right. We're scheduling doctor's appointments.
And
nope.
I'm thinking, I'm not.
I know. Well, got 83 days. And Southwest got all kinds of flights going to California, so we got a lot of options.
Are they going to require?
Oh, stop. Yes, probably so. Also, the Rose Bowl.
Listen, I know.
Those powder blue uniforms at UCLA, the LSU purple, and it's the best part? They're going to be 30,000 LSU fans there. We're going to bring Duck Dynasty over to California. That would be fun just in itself.
It would be fun in and of itself. But if I have to produce some kind of card or something.
All right. And then, so
I'll throw you the biggest Rose Bowl party here you've ever seen.
Oh,
I'll have powder blue balloons everywhere.
I like the UCLA uniforms. They're pretty cool. And they're gonna wipe them out. They're just gonna wipe them out. And we have also, here's what I wanted to talk about. This day in history. I knew there was something I wanted to do. I like history.
I know you do.
I always talk about my history teacher, Brian Altobello. He's got a new book out. I'm gonna plug it for him soon.
Does he have a book?
Yes. I want to have him on.
What's the history of Louisiana?
It's about Louisiana coming out of World War II in the cancel culture involving the Germans and Jim Crow laws.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's I'm gonna get the it at the break, and but I want to have him on. He's the best history teacher.
I thought you tried to not long ago.
We're going to try last week.
Oh yeah.
But he was it was too late. But I'm gonna get him on if he agrees to it. I'll let him plug his book for 10 minutes. No, it's an excellent book. In fact, my birthday's coming up. I am going to put it on the desk.
On the desk? On the list?
On the list. On the desk.
That's much different.
No, on the desk for the list.
Oh.
In other words, I was saying that figuratively. I'm going to give it to you.
Okay. What's in?
Because the last book you gave me, Jim Miller wrote.
Mm-hmm.
Our friend Jim Miller from the Saints, or former vice president of the Saints. He wrote a book on integration of basketball.
So this history book, is it Amazon published? Is it self-published?
I think it's self-published, but it's on Amazon. I'll give it to you. But on history, we're back on history. On June 13th, 1966, the U.S. Supreme Court handed down its decision in Miranda versus Arizona.
Really?
Yes, establishing the principle that all criminal suspects must be advised of their rights before interrogation, which now is like everybody knows. Anybody, even millennial pop culture kids know that because they watch detective shows, CSI or whatever.
But they don't really know.
They don't learn that in class. They
No.
do not learn that in class because they don't teach history anymore. But they will learn that through the social media or something like that. Now, and it said now it's considered standard police procedure. It says you have a right to remain silent. Anything that you say and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right for an attorney. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you. Now I want to talk to you. Listen to Newell Norman during the week because he's on something about lowering bail, financing bail, and people who can't afford attorneys are posting bond for $100,000.
I had never heard of that.
Had $100,000. He can pay.
He can put it on layaway.
He can pay a premium on a $100,000 bail, but he can't afford an attorney. And basically, just follow Newell during the week. Go to his podcast. I think that was Thursday. We're listening to it. It was about with Raphael Goyeneche.
It was Friday.
And basically, what happened is the short version is this: is a career criminal who should have been multiple billed had their bail reduced. He got out and killed someone. Carjacked and killed someone. And I tell you what, whoever's responsible for that, you should be in front of that person's, anybody who's responsible for that, you should be in front of their house right now protesting. If you want to protest about something, that's what, because it's just ridiculous. But anyway, Newell's on it, and I don't need to be on it because he's gonna stay on it until something happens. But
and rightfully so.
So back now, the roots of the Miranda decision goes back to March 2nd, 1963, when an 18-year-old Phoenix woman was told police that she was abducted, driven to the desert, and violated. Detectives questioned her story and gave her a polygraph, but the results were inconclusive. However, tracking the license plate number of a car that resembled that of her attacker brought police to Ernesto Miranda, who had a prior record as a peeping Tom. Peeping Tom, that was, you can be a peeping Tom now on social media, I guess. Huh?
You can.
I mean, that was sort of like a,
it's creepy.
Creepy. But, it sounds so innocent now as compared to the
what we're dealing with.
Yeah, the perverts we're dealing with now. Although the victim did not identify Miranda in a lineup, he was brought to into police custody and interrogated. What happened next is disputed, but the officers left the interrogation with a confession that Miranda later recanted, unaware that he didn't have anything to say at all. So I would suspect that the police roughed him up a little bit.
Or leaned on him.
They got them. They have their methods. The confession was extremely brief and, in certain respects, the victim's account of the victims of crime. However, Miranda's appointed defense attorney, who was paid a grand total of $100. That's interesting. Didn't call a witness. That wouldn't get you halfway through a phone call there. Didn't call any witnesses at the ensuing trial, and Miranda was convicted. That was a time where, and while Miranda was in the Arizona State Prison, the ACLU took his appeal, claiming that the confession was false and coerced. The Supreme Court overturned the conviction, but Miranda was retried and convicted again in October of 1966, despite a lack of evidence. Remaining in prison until 1972, Ernesto Miranda was later stabbed to death in the men's room of a bar after a poker game in January of 1976. There you go. So
this day in history.
So that's what when you hear you have a right to remain silent, that is the story. All right. Talking a lot of law here.
We are talking a lot of law.
We're talking about, let's jump from Miranda rights to Medicaid.
Okay.
A lot of people have concerns, if you have parents who are in their 80s, 90s, saved a little money, and they might have, having symptoms of Alzheimer's, dementia, and it's progressing, and it's a type of, that's a type of situation where you could have that condition for several years, and that maybe, and it could require being in a memory care or assisted living for an extended period of time because it's just can't deal with that at home. It's not set up to deal with it at home in a lot of ways. A lot of people are saying, well, in the nursing home says basically assign us all your assets, and when they become expended, you can apply for Medicaid, long-term care.
We have Michael on the phone with a case just like
that. And so the question is, how do you become eligible? And the eligibility is you have to have less than $2,000 of countable assets.
Right.
Now, I'm going to try to paint a picture real quick, and I'm giving it very rudimentary. So this is, but just to get the concept out there. There's two types of assets for Medicaid: countable assets and non-countable assets. What's not countable is the equity in your home,
right,
your car, and your stuff.
Right.
What is countable is everything else, basically money.
Mm-hmm.
And so if someone has $3,000 and $3,000 in cash, but no home, they're not eligible for Medicaid.
Mm-hmm.
But if someone has a $500,000 home that's paid off and no cash, they're eligible.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best way I could explain the two parameters. So, but we got Michael on the phone. Michael's got a situation. And so, hey, Michael, you on All Things Legal with Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demers Sunseri.
Thank you. My parents were divorced when I was young.
Mm-hmm.
My father remarried and has since passed away. My stepmother had the usufructs of their home, and now she has went into a nursing facility. The heirs on my side of the family would like to go ahead and sell the property while it's still worth something, and I'm wondering if that's possible.
Okay, stepmom has the usufruct, right?
Right, but she doesn't live there. She's in a full-time nursing facility.
That's an interesting. Did your dad have a will?
He had a will, paid a lawyer a bunch of money, and he never filed it with the court.
Well, okay, you got to look at the will because the will may have conditions on the usufruct. Now, a lot of usufructs we have is that if the surviving spouse, who's maybe not the first spouse, is a subsequent marriage, will say that the usufruct shall terminate when she is no longer a permanent resident of that resident and has no intention of returning, and the usufruct comes off. They may have some conditions attached to the usufruct. So the first thing I would do is get the will, see if there's a use. What are the conditions? Is it a lifetime? Is it upon remarriage? Is it upon they can be certain conditions for a period of time, and that's where I would start. Now, if she's no longer living there, technically she could rent it out and use the income. But that's that you're sort of in between, and that's why it's good to plan in those situations. Because I think if we had seen your father, we would say we would probably make that condition, because anytime there's a subsequent marriage and you give a usufruct to a subsequent spouse in a second marriage. Mm-hmm.
It was their home.
It's their home. Oh, the usufruct stays.
Their home.
Well, it's their home. Okay.
Her son does not want to sell the property because he says that if we sell it now, that the nursing home will get all the money.
He's correct. He is correct. And that goes to my point, is is she on Medicaid right now? Long-term care?
As far as I know.
Okay, you don't want to. That's a situation you do not want to do that, because the equity inside of the home is not countable. In other words, you can if you have less than $2,000 of cash, but you have equity in a home, then you're not Medicaid eligible. But if you sold the home, you would be taking that asset from a non-countable asset to a countable asset, meaning you would turn it into cash. So let's say the home was sold and it's sold for $150,000. Half of it would be the wife, hers. Well, that $75,000 would knock her off Medicaid, and Medicaid would say, you have to demonstrate to us that you spent that $75,000 before you can reapply. So he is correct. You would not want to sell it because you're turning an asset, a non-countable asset under Medicaid, to a countable asset. And when you do that,
wouldn't they only take her 50% of the money?
Yeah, they would.
Would
They would, but she would lose Medicaid, and they would have to use that $75,000. You utilize it, expend it prior to getting back on Medicaid coverage. So it's basically a $75,000 donation to the government.
Get her half, but we would get our half.
No, the government would get her half.
Medicaid would get her. Well, she'd have to spend it down. Yeah. Now, well, also too, she probably has a lifetime usufruct, I would guess, if they bought the house together. The will, I would say, would most probably have a lifetime usufruct for your dad's half.
The will?
Yeah, the will.
If they did not file it with the court?
You don't have to file a will with the court.
I mean, they may not have done succession yet because they're not interested in selling the property.
Well, I'm not sure it was even a will. It was one of these deals where somebody came out and they sit down and did all this, when I die, she's got to die before they do anything. And then...
Sounds like a will.
Sounds like a will.
Sounds like a will.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I'd get that document, but I would just say generally, based on information you've given us, it would be better not to sell the house because you don't want to knock off Medicaid. You'd rather preserve the equity in the house. And they could file a lien for a portion of the property, but you'd still come off better, for the Medicaid benefits. But, it would be better to, at this point, not sell the house for everyone.
She's in her 90s, so,
Yeah, I hear you. All right, my man. Thanks for the call. Let's go to break. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demers, Sunseri, All Things Legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
Your new audio home for everything that matters.
Okay, I have Bill on the phone with a similar but different situation.
I'm sorry. What's that?
Podcast.
I have Bill on the phone with a similar but different situation.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
I was bloated all the time with daily diarrhea.
At first, I thought it was what I was eating.
I kept thinking it was stomach issues.
So I did my research and talked to my doctor, and we finally uncovered the truth.
It was actually EPI. Exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, is a condition where your pancreas is unable to help break down your food.
It can lead to symptoms like diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools.
And EPI symptoms can be confused with those of other common digestive conditions, like irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's, and celiac disease.
So getting to the right diagnosis meant being more open with my doctor about the severity of my symptoms and how often they were happening.
But there's good news. EPI is manageable, so don't wait any longer. Use the symptom checker at identifyepi.com and schedule a visit or call with your doctor to ask, could I have EPI?
Sponsored by AbbVie.
At Progressive, we're making things even easier. We'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save on both. Learn more at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
Bobby Hebert here from my friends at Clearwater Pools and Spas, your staycation headquarters. Let us turn your backyard into a great family vacation spot from the pool and the spa to the Triga Pellet Grill. Visit CWNOLA.com or one of our locations in Covington, Metairie, Baton Rouge, and Pearl, Mississippi.
With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
Mike Capel here, serial entrepreneur. I started my first business in a dingy basement of a factory in 1986. Instead of customers, my visitors were rats, birds, flies, and snakes. To psych myself up that I was going to succeed, I wore formal business attire and a tie to that lonely factory basement every day. I was a total type A business geek, crunching spreadsheets for my accounting. Today, my fifth successful business, Patriot Software, makes accounting simple for accountants and non-accountants alike, eliminating the need for many of us business geeks to crunch spreadsheets or wear formal business attire ever again. Go to patriotsoftware.com. Use promo code RADIO and get 2 months of accounting software free. That's patriotsoftware.com.
Accounting and payroll. Keep your time and money.
Ready to remodel your home? Ready to get inspired? Then get ready for the St. Tammany Home and Remodeling Show. Thousands of the newest home products and ideas are waiting for you. Kitchens, baths, windows, flooring, landscaping, and more. Everything to create your outdoor paradise, gourmet kitchen, or new addition, plus certified Louisiana Food Fest. Free tastings and samples of great food. All from Louisiana homegrown companies. The St. Tammany Home and Remodeling Show, presented by the North Shore HBA, June 12th and 13th. Castine Center, Manderville.
Do you have Medicare and Medicaid? You may be entitled to better benefits with People's Health, including a $300 per quarter allowance for over-the-counter health and wellness items, a $55 per month allowance for healthy foods, free transportation to medical appointments, a free gym membership, and dental, vision, and hearing coverage. If you have Medicare and Medicaid, take a look at the benefits of People's Health. Learn more at peopleshealth.com.
It's time to bank with a new perspective. At Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union, we see people that become members with homes, members that want to save more, and those that want convenient online and mobile banking. Join Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union and become a member today. Almost anyone can join. We offer free checking, convenient locations, and great rates on home and auto loans. Over 52,000 of your neighbors are already banking with us. Join today at jeffersonfinancial.org and learn what we have to offer. Federally insured by NCUA.
Now, more All Things Legal, underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. All advice given and opinions shared solely those of attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri. Back to WWL.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Temer Sunseri. All Things Legal. Albert's out this week and next week. Albert's 60th birthday. You see, I have to say something about Albert because I always have to rib him when he's not here about something.
Poor Albert.
And so he had his 60th birthday last week.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Happy belated birthday, Albert.
And actually, he didn't have a big party because Allie graduated, his daughter, from PA school.
Oh, that's exciting.
But the stock speculators were put out a stock recommendation to buy long on liquor on anticipation of Albert having a blowout. And the analysts were wrong. And so liquor sales were greatly decreased last week because Albert had a low-key 60-year-old birthday. So I had to get my obligatory.
I'm sure.
All right. We were talking about, speaking of Albert making 60, Medicaid planning. Let's go to Bill. He's got a question on Medicaid. He had sort of a similar issue. Hey, Bill, you and All Things Legal.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Good, good. Yeah.
Good morning.
Ladies and gentlemen. Being that number in September, don't worry about that. It makes me invasive.
Are you?
My question here is...
Go Tigers. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. Question here is, you have a living mother who is getting to the point where she's not able to care for herself, but she's not ready to go into a nursing home.
Mm-hmm.
What if she liquidates her assets and moves in with a family member, and it gets to the point where she has to be checked into long-term memory care from that nature?
Well, again, does she own a home?
Yes, that's yes. She has a home and a 401k, all that. But I thought there was somewhere she could donate.
No, you said
remember that once a year, or what is that?
No, I'm glad you brought that up, and thank you for doing that. There's a 5-year look-back period in Medicaid, and I'll try to. It's a little complicated, but I'll give it to you as simply as I can try.
5-year waiting period, almost.
Right. So, like, let's say if your mother donated you $100,000, and she had to go to Medicaid, filled out that Medicaid application 2 years from the donation. They would have considered that $100,000 donation as being in the bank. Is the short version of it. In other words, they're going to consider that as a countable asset, and that actually prolongs. Yeah, that actually prolongs eligibility because this is a little complicated, but the cost of care is $4,000 per month, as far as around $4,000 for Medicaid. So they would take that $4,000 deposit, divide it into 100,000, and that would be almost 24. It'd be about 24, 25 months. And they would say, if they recognize that $100,000 donation, she would not be eligible. Her eligibility of Medicaid will be delayed by 25 months under that scenario. So you can't donate. Now, there's things you can do to sort of, to offload that money. You can pay off all her debt. You can pay off her mortgages. There's certain things
There is no mortgage. Everything's paid.
You could use it to, repairs in the house. Now, I will say this generally, most people with 401ks, and if they're six figures, you really just can't. It's going to be very hard to plan.
Yeah, I understand.
Because even
I wanted to ask that question.
yeah, it's if you got a 401k, it's tough. Now, what we try to do is if they have enough money, what you do is maybe, and this is more about financial investors, you try to get the money in an investment that will pay a certain interest per year, add that to which they're getting in Social Security, maybe pensions. And a lot of times that could cover the monthly payment for, assisted living or nursing home care. So, for example, I'm going to just give you a quick example. Someone has $500,000 and they come to us and say, hey, can we Medicaid plan for that? I say, no, not really. But my suggestion would be if you got 4 or 5, and I'm not the money show, so don't, all you financial advisors, just say if they got 4 or 5% a year on that $500,000, that's $20,000, that's $2,000 a month, $1,800 a month. And then they may get, $2,500 in and Social Security and a pension. So that's $4,000 a month, and your cost of care is maybe $4,500 or $5,000 a month. Well, the deficit in that case is only is a lot, but it's $1,000 is not. And so, if someone can make that deficit up during that time period, and you're really not eating too much into the principal. So, there's things you can do, but if you have a 401k, that makes it tough because even if you do some planning and paying off some debt, when you pull a bunch of that money out, you're going to be paying taxes on it. It might be a little higher bracket if you pull it all at once.
Right. Well, Uncle Sam gets his bite every time.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Well, the interesting thing too is keep an eye on in Congress. There's talk about lowering the death tax from 11.5 million to lower, maybe to 3 million. Which, if someone has a 401k, a paid up insurance policy, and a home that's paid off, you might rub up against that. So, yeah. Well,
83 days to the Tigers.
There you go.
What, 87 days for the Hooters.
That's right. So it's around the corner. Any predictions for LSU this year?
We're gonna rock and roll.
We're gonna rock and roll. They're gonna beat
better than 500. A lot better than people think we're gonna be.
Oh, we're gonna be fine. We're gonna beat those left coasters in the first game in UCLA. So we're gonna bring a little.
Let us get in there. Let us get in there and create the thunder in the Rose Bowl.
That's right.
Get out of town. Have an earthquake game in the Rose Bowl.
That's right.
All right. Friend, have a good morning.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for the call. All right. Let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demers Sunseri, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
After a brutal season, it's been a long time since I've had good news. I feel your pain. The tide is turning.
Okay, I have Yvonne on the phone. Yvonne, and it has to do with real estate.
America back up for business. We can't get this done. Now, as hope gives way to expectation, you're invited to join the conversation.
I am not alone.
There's other people out there that feel the same way I do. America reopens. Talk about it here on WWL.
Both require a little TLC.
That's why I store my boat in Seabrook Harbor Marine's dry stack facility. And when my boat does need a repair, I turn to the craftsmen at Seabrook. Growing up on the bayou, I learned a lot about boat repair yards. And David and Jeff Mons have the finest repair facility I've ever seen. Jeff, tell us about your capabilities.
Bobby, we are the Gulf Coast's most advanced state-of-the-art yacht and boat repair facility.
Right. Why'd you say that? And I'll just play
electrical repairs. We do it all. We also build custom parts and do complete refits. We are located near the ICW, which makes us accessible from anywhere along the Gulf Coast.
And now, party boat rentals.
What better way to beat the heat than our 24-foot pontoon boat? It's available for half and full day rentals. It's one more reason for us to say, boating made easy.
Seabrook Marina on France Road on the Industrial Canal, just a half mile from the lake. And online at SeabrookHarborMarine.com.
Diamonds Direct celebrates the summer of 2021 with a spectacular offer that everyone's loving right now. 5 years, 0 interest financing on anything and everything. Upgrade her diamond now and spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest. Go ahead, splurge on that designer necklace or those diamond earrings. It's easy with this amazing offer. Pick any item, divide the price by 60, and that's your monthly payment. And no down payment is required. You can even finance the sales tax. People are driving for hours to take advantage of this. You get the unbeatable price Diamonds Direct is famous for, and you spread your payments over 5 whole years. Imagine a $12,000 designer engagement ring or diamond tennis bracelet, just $200 a month. It's the smartest and easiest way to buy. And doesn't she deserve it? After all that's happened in the last year, don't miss this incredible opportunity. 5 years, 0 interest financing now for a limited time. Only at
I also have a succession question, including a reverse mortgage. Bonnie. Her name is Bonnie.
Radio station curated and hosted by and for the LGBTQ plus community and our allies. It's called Channel Q. To listen, download the Odyssey app and search for Channel Q. It's where we connect the LGBTQ plus community from coast to coast for news, talk, great conversation, and play the biggest dance and top 40 music hand curated for our community. Just download the Odyssey app and search for Channel Q. Channel Q is proud to be an Odyssey original.
I'm former NBA player Don James. For years, I had carpal tunnel syndrome and joint pain. Then I started having heart-related symptoms like fatigue and palpitations. Turns out I had heart failure caused by hereditary transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare, life-threatening disease underdiagnosed.
We're going to start with Yvonne from a real estate question. We have Bonnie with a succession question.
Bonnie would. Okay, we're taking Bonnie first, huh?
Say again?
Bonnie's got the succession question?
Yeah.
Okay, and we'll take our first, right?
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
$1 billion of damage in Louisiana alone. J&J Exterminating has over 55 years experience in keeping your home safe. Trust J&J Exterminating to shield your home, business, and property 365 days a year with 100% satisfaction guarantee.
A payback over X amount of years. So you might
Hey, y'all, spring is here, and you're ready to get out and celebrate. Here's what's happening around the state. June 10th through 12th, Louisiana Corn Festival in Bunkie. June 11th and 12th, Red River Balloon Rally in Shreveport. June 12th and 13th, Cajun Heritage
Yeah, and then
Festival in
there's
Monroe.
provisions when you die. You got to
Make your
notify
plans to laissez les bon temps rouler.
They can.
This is Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungas.
You sign it
Plan
back
your
to them
road
and they'll
trip
sell it.
at Louisiana
Now, if there's any difference when they sell it, you get it
We're
back.
planning a trip to Spain later this year.
But our Spanish is
And
Pretty bad.
there in certain
When you
situations.
learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind. Babbel's
Fact, the guy
conversation-based
Del Sal,
method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's
recently,
interactive, bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned. ¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
No matter your learning style or experience level, Babbel has lessons designed for you that will get you speaking quickly and confidently.
I tried learning Spanish before, but I couldn't stick with it until I found Babbel.
There's no easier way to learn another language.
Ahora hablamos español.
He just said, now we speak Spanish.
I can't wait to use our new language skills on our upcoming adventures.
Babbel, language for life, celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
All things legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud on WWL and Odyssey Station. Connect now on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
We're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demers Sunseri, All Things Legal. You had a very good point for the break about long-term care for Medicaid. Yeah.
Sure. Just in sitting with people, what I've realized is there's a generation, like our parents' generation, that, and their parents, where they saved and they had retirement for purposes of taking care of themselves and to pay for their long-term care. But what you see is then their kids see the money and go, well, wait, that was meant for us, so how can I then circumvent and have the government pay? And a lot of times it's not the government's responsibility.
Well, it's just insert, like, for example, I'll give you, before we go to Bonnie, I'll give you a quick example. If someone has $100,000 of cash and has a $100,000 mortgage on their home, they wouldn't be Medicaid eligible in that scenario.
Right.
But if they took that money, $100,000, and paid off the mortgage, they're Medicaid eligible. So there are certain things you can do, make adjustments you can make to become Medicaid eligible. And it's just...
What I'm talking about is people that have 3-figure 401ks, six-figure 401ks that, have, getting $5,000 in pension money.
This is not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. All right, let's go to phone lines. Let's go to Bonnie. She's got a question regarding successions. Hey, Bonnie, you and All Things Legal, Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demers Sunseri.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. I have a reverse mortgage on my home, which the home was paid for. I got a reverse mortgage. I received $70,000, which I invested, and I'm getting $100 a month check from the investment company, and that's about it. That's about all I have. I have some money in the bank. I think $22,000. Now, how does that work? If say I were to go in assisted living or memory care or facility?
Well, basically, what would happen is, first of all, you'd have to. The government would require you to spend. You'd have to be under $2,000 in cash,
right,
before you become eligible.
I could do that. I can do that.
The equity in your home is not counted, and then what would happen if you had to go to memory care? Your $400 would be assigned to the nursing home. Any Social Security you'd get be assigned to the nursing home, and Medicaid would pay the difference.
Yeah.
And Medicaid would pay the difference.
Sweet.
So,
and then the money in the investment would just
that would be the investment. The $400 would be assigned to the nursing home.
No, but she has $70,000 that she's growing, that she's pulling.
Oh, well, but that's from the equity in the home.
But it's in a financial. No, that 70 would be counted.
Oh, no, you're right. That $70,000 would be counted. Is it an annuity?
What?
Yes.
It's an investment with Cropog.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, you wouldn't be eligible as long as you got that $70,000 investment.
Nope.
I was thinking it was coming from reverse mortgage. I'm sorry. That was my bad.
I did. I applied for reverse mortgage. They gave me $70,000, and that's what I invested.
Okay, now here's how you become eligible. You take that investment, you cash it out, and you pay off your mortgage, and you'd be eligible.
Well, pay for?
Well, you said you had a reverse mortgage. You said you took out a reverse.
Yes. That money would go back to
That's what I'm saying. You would.
Well, if you have a reverse mortgage, the house isn't paid for because you have
Yeah. So the way you would become eligible in that case. Okay.
Well, it's only due when I die.
No, but you can pay it off early. You can pay it off early. It's a mortgage.
Could. Yes.
So what you would do is this. I'm sorry. Let me recalibrate here. If you I don't want to use you as an example because you're going to live a long time and you're not going to have this problem. I'm just using an example.
Yeah, of course.
If someone in your situation who had a reverse mortgage and then you put it in an investment and they got Alzheimer's and you say, okay, I want to plan for long-term care. What you would do is you take that investment, liquidate it, pay off the reverse mortgage because that money's going into the equity of your house. Get under $2,000 and you'd be eligible.
Perfect. I love it. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you for the call. Okay, let's go to Yvonne's got a question regarding real estate. Hey, Yvonne, you and All Things Legal with Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri.
Hi, thank you for taking my call. I'm calling on behalf of my niece who bought a home and it was in foreclosure. She had money from an injury settlement, so she paid for the house in full. There's no mortgage. My question is, she did have the house inspected. The inspector took pictures of different things in the house. The bank that was foreclosing did make one repair for rotten wood. Now, the house has an active termite nest. He took pictures, but he never mentioned live active termites.
The inspector?
She did not have anybody. She did not have anybody do an actual termite inspection. Somewhat like a Terminex or whatever.
Right.
But the photograph does show, he had made pictures of different things that needed to be tended to, but he didn't specifically say that she had live termites. So does she have any recourse?
Against who?
Throughout his report, he does say that she would have to consult with professionals about this or that. But I was just wondering, does he have any kind of responsibility for not specifically mentioning that?
No, he doesn't. No. I mean, it's just the inspector gives a snapshot of certain things. In other words, if he sees a structural problem, he'll mention maybe there's an issue you might want to look at, consult the engineer. Or it may say, I see some shingles on a roof that are displaced, but please consult the roofer on the extent of the damage. They're not responsible for that.
Exactly.
And so, all the inspector is like
it's like a gatekeeper.
Yeah, it just sort of points you in the right direction. And Albert's, I think he's the attorney for the Louisiana Board of Home Inspectors, and they have all kinds of language to limit their liability for those type of issues.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thank you.
All right.
Thanks
for the call. Let's go to the last break. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri, All Things Legal. We'll be right back after this brief time out.
At Open Heart Jewelers, we offer a vast selection of breathtaking diamond jewelry. Choose from dazzling rings, earrings, bracelets, and
Okay, you are clear. No more calls.
Every price range. See
We're clear?
New styles from designers like
Yes, sir.
How much are we going to have when we come back?
Mikimoto Pearls and Marco Bichico. World-renowned.
You will have about a little over 5 minutes.
Gotcha.
And of course, shop the Oakland Heart Collection, designed exclusively for New Orleans by our award-winning craftsmen right here at our Metairie Road store. At Oakland Heart, we offer extraordinary jewelry in every price range and offer flexible interest-free financing options. Shop smart, online or around town. Simply compare. There's nothing like Oakland Heart Diamond Jewelry anywhere. For that special jewelry, for that one-of-a-kind love, shop smart for the best prices possible at Oakland Heart Jewelers on Metairie Road. Beautiful in more ways than one.
This is Attorney Doug Sunseri, host of All Things Legal on Sunday morning.
This is Attorney Michelle Demarest Sunseri. As a result of COVID-19, many are experiencing unique family law difficulties resulting in divorce and custody issues.
Also, we learn the importance of estate planning, wills, and powers of attorney.
At Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm, we make it complex understandable.
Call me at my Metairie office at 504-837-1304.
Or call me, the boss lady, on the North Shore at my new office in Mandeville, 985-624-9697.
Boss lady, really? Are you a business owner?
Yeah, this is
bookkeeping? Why? It makes no sense, literally. Focus on what you do well, like growing your business, and let Accounting Services Unlimited handle your bookkeeping. Hi, this is Thomas Fontes. Accounting Services Unlimited is insanely affordable and will come to you. Call for a free quote. Accounting Services Unlimited, 504-717-6253. That's 717-6253. Or visit us at ASU.edu. llc.com.
If you're looking for authentic Italian cuisine, look no further than Risotto's Ristorante and Chop House, corner of Fleur-de-Lis and Harrison in Lakeview. Flavorful cuts of meat, tasteful seafood dishes, and all of the Italian classics. Great happy hour specials and Wine Not Wednesdays with half-price bottles of selected wines. Book a private room and let Risotto's make
No, that's what I know.
event.
There's
While
no way you
patio
should get it.
dining available
It makes
for
it
reservation.
messes things up.
1804 or visit us at risotosristorante.com.
At Dependable Storage, we want your stuff. DependableStorage.com.
Rejuvenate your weekends with Rejuvame. RejuvameMedical.com.
I struggled with symptoms like frequent gas and stomach pain for years.
I was bloated all the time with daily diarrhea.
At first, I thought it was what I was eating.
I kept thinking it was stomach issues.
So I did my research.
Okay, we'll make that 6 minutes.
And we finally uncovered
6 minutes?
It was actually,
yes, sir.
All right.
Pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, is a condition where your pancreas is unable to help break down your food.
It can lead to symptoms like diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools.
And EPI symptoms can be confused with those of other common digestive conditions, like irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's, and celiac disease.
So getting to the right diagnosis meant being more open with my doctor about the severity of my symptoms and how often they were happening.
But there's good news. EPI is manageable, so don't wait any longer. Use the symptom checker at identifyepi.com and schedule a visit or call with your doctor to ask, could I have EPI?
Sponsored by AbbVie.
Progressive's Home Quote Explorer is changing the way you buy home insurance. Now you can go online, get a custom quote, and save both time and money. Learn more at Progressive.com.
All things legal on WWL. Consult with Nicaud and Sunseri now on the Open Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870. And don't forget to rewind on the Odyssey app.
Hey, we're back. Last segment, Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demers Sunseri, all things legal. Stay tuned on the Big 870 for LSU baseball. First pitch, 2 o'clock. Pregame, 1:30. And
I thought it started at 3. Is it 2?
3 o'clock Eastern time. I think 2 o'clock Central. So stay tuned on Big 870. We'll listen to Chris Blair and who is it? Bill Franquez, I guess, is doing color play-by-play. And also, if anybody wants to call you in the North Shore in God's country, in Mandeville,
985-624-9697.
And South Shore is 504-837-1304, 504-1304. So, I'm a little pensive about the LSU game.
I want to ask you something about that. I asked Polly last night. So, since COVID, all of the play-by-play announcers are like sitting in their den or their office or their bedroom with their nice jackets and their ties, and probably have like shorts or a bathing suit on at the bottom.
Like we do right now. Like I do.
Have pants on.
No.
My question is, do you think is they're announcing the same as if they were sitting there?
No.
And B, do you think they'll go? Okay, no, why?
There is something about being at the game that you get a feel for that you don't have on TV. The reason you have announcers is because you want somebody there who can get the feel for things that you can't pick up on television or on a monitor.
No, that makes sense.
And, little things. Plus, one of the great things, Bob Carroll for the Saints is the spotter.
Mm-hmm.
When Deuce and whoever is going to be the new one, used to be Zach and Jim Henderson, and they have a spotter who is sort of looking at places that you can't see on the monitor.
Mm-hmm.
So, like if they do radio, but you can't watch the whole field. You can't watch everything, and you can't see shifts. Like for example, on a now they may have some monitors, but I doubt it. Like before, when someone comes up to bat,
mm-hmm.
A lot of times they'll do a shift for certain players. You won't be able to see the shift per se necessarily if you have the shot from center field or of the pitcher throwing the pitch to the batter.
Well, for me, and I don't know that much, but it would seem like the play-by-play announcers are at the mercy of the cameraman.
Right. And again, in baseball, it's such a cerebral game, and there's such little subtleties You know, for example, as to whether the third baseman and first baseman are guarding the lines or not. You know, the outfield as far as the shift, are they in or they're out? And you miss those little subtleties of the game. If you listen, a great baseball announcer paints a picture, and that's why when you listen to baseball, you imagine it in your head, and they're looking at the entire field. They're not looking at one TV monitor, and then they have someone else on their side who's called the spotter. You know, Robert Carroll's been the spotter for the Saints broadcast for forever, and he started telling the announcers, "Look at this, look at this, look at this," and they're picking up on that, and you don't have that, even though so it's almost it's not as good, not at all. Now I will say on ESPN, Ben McDonald and Peterson are two of the best color analysts in baseball.
Is McDonald out of Baton Rouge?
He's from LSU.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So let me ask you this. Second part of my question is despite how I'm sure it affects the bottom dollar, because I'm sure it's cheaper to have somebody in their bedroom rather than traveling all over the country. Do you think they'll go back, or you think they're going to look at the bottom line?
They're going to. A lot of games they're going to broadcast from the bedroom because ESPN is bleeding right now, so they're trying to cut. In fact, you know, when I was an umpire at LSU, Ben McDonald was a pitcher.
Oh, really? And
so I did one of his games in high school, and I was squatted behind, and all of a sudden, when he pitched, the ball was in the mitt. And I was like, what just happened here? Because I couldn't pick up from perception his pitch. It took me about an inning because he threw so hard. And so the first inning, I was guessing balls and strikes because I did not see the ball.
It was going so fast?
He was throwing 90-something. I mean, the poor catcher's hand was... You had a high school catcher from Central Private, I think, who is used to catching 78, 80 miles an hour. He's throwing 91, 95 miles an hour. And it was just like literally watching a rocket go into a mitt. And it took me a couple of innings to say, man, to get my bearings. But he's Chris Peterson and Ben McDonald, as far as, you know, announcing, are two phenomenal announcers. And Todd Walker also, he's from LSU. They do a really good job. But, you know, when you say that, not being at the game I think, in my opinion, makes a big difference.
Yeah, I would think so too.
I used, if they were synced, I would listen to Chris Blair, because I didn't think anybody could replace Jim Harthon, but he has phenomenally. And so, you know, so go, you know, Tigers. If they do not make mistakes, bottom of the order hits, timely hitting, they can win. So, and no mental errors. They can beat Tennessee twice, but they have to do that for you know, next two games. All right. Well, Michelle, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And then we'll be on next week. So we'll see you next week on All Things Legal. Be good, be blessed, and go Tigers. All right.
Home of the Saints, 870 AM, WWL New Orleans, 105.